Okay, students, if you're watching this video, that means you need some help on your 3 homework problems, which I'm glad to help you with. In fact, you might be watching this in class right now, which is totally fine. Okay, here's the first problem. If you copied it down correctly, it should look like this. I did cut and paste these right out of that video, so I know these are correct, okay? All right, here we go. The first thing I want you to do is, obviously, I want us to solve the triangle. That's what our goal is, okay? So with that in mind, hold on 1 second, please. With that in mind, I'm going to very quickly add up my angles. I have 40 degrees. I have 90 degrees. Add those together. I get 130. Subtract from 180, and the other angle is 50. So I'm going to come right over here to angle P. I'm going to write 50 degrees. So measure of angle P equals 50. There we go. Now, some of you might have chosen a different angle. I can't help that. I'm going to choose 50. There's no certain reason, okay? There's no method to my madness. I'm just choosing an angle. Never choose 90, of course. You choose one of your acute angles. So I'm going to choose 50. So I go over to 6. This is your opposite side. Here's 90. I'm going to go across. This is my hypotenuse. So this third side here is my adjacent side. Now I have a question for you. Well, let's very quickly write down my trig ratios. Sine equals opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine equals adjacent over hypotenuse. And tangent equals opposite over adjacent. I'm going to go ahead and pause and cut and I say cut. I'm going to cut and paste. So there we go. So I have that for future. All right. Now, look, do I know the length of the hypotenuse? No. Do I know the length of the adjacent side? No. Do I know the length of the hypotenuse? Yes. So you do not want to use this trig ratio here because you don't know the length of the adjacent side and you don't know the length of the hypotenuse. You want to use either this trig ratio or this one. Totally your choice. I'm going to use sine, just a preference, okay? So here we go. Or just a guess, really. So sine of what? What angle did we choose? Sine of 50 equals, and what is sine equal? Opposite over hypotenuse. Well, opposite is 6 and hypotenuse is h. Now, I take the bottom of the fraction, I multiply both sides by h. The right side is left with 6 and the left side would be h times sine of 50. Now, if you type in the sine of 50 into your calculator correctly, you will get 0.7660. 0.7660. Now, the h and this parentheses are multiplying, and the opposite of multiply is divide. So I'm going to divide this side by 0.7660. I'm going to divide this side by 0.7660. These cancel out, leaving you with h, your hypotenuse. And now with your calculator, you want to type in 6 divided by 0.7660, and you will get 7.8. So I'm going to go up here and cross off the word hypotenuse. I'm going to write 7.8. And of course that's side OP or segment OP. So OP equals 7.8. Now, we know two sides, do we not? Do we not know two sides? So what would be wrong with Pythagorean's theorem? Nothing at all. That would be a great idea. So L squared plus L squared equals 8 squared. One leg, the adjacent side, we don't know. The other leg is 6, so 6 squared. And the other side is the hypotenuse, 7.8 squared. Well, if you square 6, you will get 36. And if you square 7.8, you will get 60.84. Now we're going to subtract 36 from both sides. So 60.84 minus 36 is 24.84. And then of course we're going to take the square root of both sides. So when we take the square root of that number, you get 4.98. 4.98. So the adjacent side right here, I'm going to cross it off, is 4.98, and that's MP. So MP equals 4.98. There we go. We solved the entire triangle. Let's go on to the next problem. Okay, we are going to solve this triangle. I'm going to go pretty fast now. We've done quite a few of these, so here we go. We're missing angle T, so we have 90 and 50. 90 plus 50 is 140. If you take 180 and subtract 140, you'll get 40. So this angle right here is 40 degrees. So the measure of angle T equals 40. All right. Now, let's go ahead and list out our sides. It doesn't matter which angle you choose. I'm going to choose 50 just because I feel like it. So I've chosen 50. We go straight across. That's your opposite side. Here's your right angle. This is going to be your hypotenuse. And then the other angle or the other side has to be your adjacent side. Now, your trig ratios, of course, are this right here. Now be careful here. What side do I know? It's not the adjacent side, it's not the opposite side, it's the hypotenuse. So I either want to use this trig ratio because it has hypotenuse, or this one. You don't want to use this one. You do not know the opposite side, you do not know the adjacent side. Don't use that trig ratio. I'm going to use sine for no certain reason. So here we go. Sine of, what angle did I choose? 50 equals what? Opposite over hypotenuse. Opposite, I do not know. Hypotenuse is 10. Now the bottom of the fraction is 10, so I'm going to multiply the right side by 10. That leaves me with OP. I'm going to multiply the left side by 10. 10 times the sine of 50, or the sine of 10 times the sine of 50 is 10 times 0.7660. And now multiply those two numbers together, and you will get 7.7. 7.66. I'm going to put 7.7. So we come up here, I'm going to cross off the word opposite, and I'm going to put 7.7. That's segment AT. So AT equals 7.7. All right, now I can use Pythagorean theorem. That's awful fast. I can do that because I know two sides. I can say L squared plus L squared equals 8 squared. One of my legs right here I don't know, so I'm going to put L squared. My other leg is 7.7, so 7.7 squared. My hypotenuse is 10, so 10 squared. Well, if you type into your calculator 7.7 squared, you will get 59.29. And then for 10 squared, hopefully you don't need a calculator for that. 10 times 10 is 100. And now we're going to subtract 59.29 from 100. And you'll get 40.71. 40.71. And then we're going to take the square root of that. And you would get 6.4. So the other leg is 6.4. So we come up here, cross off the word adjacent. I'm going to write 6.4. So AC, segment AC equals 6.4. All right, one more problem and we're done. One more problem and we're done. Let me grab a quick drink of water here. And here we go. All right, we are going to solve this triangle. Solve this triangle, okay? And so with that in mind, I notice right away I have 43 degrees for one angle and 90 for another angle. Add those together, that's 133. And then subtract 180, or subtract 180 minus 133, and you'll get 47 degrees. So angle G right here is 47 degrees. And I come down here, the measure of angle G equals 47 degrees. Now, it doesn't matter which angle that you choose, please understand that. I'm going to choose 43. There's no certain reason that I'm doing that. So if I go across, this is my opposite side. 90 degrees, go straight across. This is my hypotenuse. And the other side is your adjacent side. Now, with that in mind, let's take a look at our trig ratios that we have right here. Here they are. Which side do I know? Well, did I not give you any of those? Let's see. Hold on one second. No, I did not, and I apologize for that. It's kind of funny if any of you solved this problem without watching the video. I would love to see how you did it. You can write a book on how to solve a right triangle when you don't know any of the sides, so that'd be pretty interesting. Let's go ahead and get rid of this opposite for just a second. Just give me 1 second. And I'm sorry for those who try to do your homework and you couldn't do it. We're just going to call this a length of 5. Okay, there we go. Now do remember this is the opposite side. And so with that in mind, do I know the length of the adjacent side? No. Do I know the length of the hypotenuse? No. But I do know the length of the opposite side. So I can use this trig ratio or this one right here. Okay? Really doesn't matter. I'm not going to use that one. Okay? So I'm going to use tangent. I've not used that in a while, so I'm going to go ahead and say tangent of 43 degrees equals, and what does tangent equal? Opposite over adjacent. So opposite is 5, and adjacent we do not know. Now the bottom of the fraction is a, so I'm going to multiply the right side by a. That leaves you with 5. I'm going to multiply the left side by a. That would be a times the tangent of 43. And the tangent of 43 is 0.9325. So 0.9325. Now the a and this parentheses are multiplying, and the opposite of multiply is divide. So I'm going to divide this side by 0.9325. I'm going to multiply this side by 0.9325. These of course cancel out, leaving you with a. And over here on the right side you would type into your calculator 5 divided by this number right here. And let's see what we would get. 5.4 is what I'm getting. 5.4. Alright? So that would be your adjacent side. So I'm going to cross off adjacent. I'm going to write 5.4. Now, there is no reason at all for us to ignore the Pythagorean theorem. It's so easy to use. And so here we go. We know two sides, do we not? We know this side and this side. So if you know two sides, let's use Pythagorean's theorem. L squared plus L squared equals 8 squared. One leg is 5.4 squared. The other leg is 5 squared. And we do not know the hypotenuse squared. Well, 5.4 squared would be 29.16. 5 squared is 25. If you add those two numbers together, you will get 54.16 equals 8 squared. And now we're going to take the square root of that number. Give me just a second, please. 54.16. And you'll get 7.4. 7.4 equals your hypotenuse. So we come up here, cross that off. I'm going to put 7.4. So first of all, I forgot I found the measure of DO, and DO was 5.4. And now I just found the measure of DG, and that's 7.4. So that's your 3 homework problems. You can see these take a little bit of time, but that's how you would solve these, and I hope this has been a help to you.